Hello everyone, it's Harry, your host. This is unbelievable, and you need to hear this right now. If you are one of the 42 million people on food stamps, SNAP benefits, and you have an EBT card, this message is absolutely critical for you. They are now sending out undercover investigators, and I'm not talking about random checks or occasional audits. I'm talking about USDA agents deliberately going into grocery stores trying to break the rules on purpose. And if somebody gets busted that is not in compliance, it is not going to be a good situation for anyone involved. I have the article right here, which I'm going to pop up on the screen in just a second, so you can see and read for yourself exactly what they're talking about. I'll explain all the details within this article and what you need to know as a food stamp or SNAP beneficiary right now in 2026. Because here's the thing, the rules have changed. As of the start of the new year, there are new rules that have gone into effect. And throughout the next few months, actually the first half of 2026, there are going to be more rules changing and millions of people are going to be impacted by these rule changes and what has now been implemented. So let's talk through the details about this because this is getting to be very wild. And I'm going to explain all the details for you. I've been covering SNAP benefits and food assistance programs for a year now on this channel. I talk to thousands of people in this community every single day, real people who are dealing with these exact issues. And I've been warning about this situation for weeks now because I could see it coming. So today, I'm breaking down exactly what's happening, who's at risk, and most importantly, what you need to do to protect yourself. All right. Let me pop this article up on the screen for you right here, right now. Feel free to read through the details of this, and I will explain what's going on. Just the other day, I was out with a separate video talking about the new rules as far as the limitations based on those 18 waivers requests that were granted last year to restrict the purchase of carbonated beverages, soda, sugary drinks, dessert food, candy, all kinds of things like this. There are 18 states across the country that have been granted these waivers back in 2025. Well, as of the beginning of the year, just a couple of days ago, these have gone into effect for 5 states. Okay, so there are just 5 states right now that are implementing these new rules. However, in February, in March, in April, basically for the first half of the year, all 18 states will be implementing these new rules as far as the restrictions on your purchases. Now, here's what those restrictions actually mean. No carbonated beverages or soda, no sugary drinks or energy drinks, no dessert foods, no candy, and various other items depending on the specific state. Each state has slightly different rules, so what's restricted in one state might be allowed in another. So, who exactly should be paying attention to this? If you're in one of these 18 states with waivers, you're directly affected right now. The 5 states that just started enforcing this on January 1st are feeling it first, but the rest are coming soon. Single moms on SNAP. You're trying to stretch every dollar, and now you have to navigate confusing new rules about what you can and cannot buy. Rural families. This one's huge, and I'll explain why in a minute. If you only have one grocery store within 10, 15, 20 miles, you could be in serious trouble. Elderly beneficiaries trying to understand these new restrictions when you've been shopping the same way for years. People with disabilities having to navigate even more complicated rules just to buy groceries. Veterans on SNAP. You served this country and now you're being treated like you're trying to cheat the system. The USDA's goal here is simple. They want to crack down on stores that aren't enforcing these new restrictions. They want to make sure that if an item is restricted in your state, you absolutely cannot buy it with your EBT card. But here's where this gets really problematic. Here's the point you need to understand, and I've been saying this for a while now. The beneficiaries may get impacted by this in a pretty massive way. Now, let me be very clear about something important. You as a beneficiary, if you go to the store and you try to buy a restricted item, you're not going to get in trouble for that. You can try that all you want. It does not matter. There's no rule that says, hey, if you try to buy a case of soda, you're going to get busted and your benefits are going to get revoked. No, there's no rule that says that. At least, I've never seen that anyway. You can try it all you want. And I'm going to say this clearly. There's no law that says you can't buy these items at all. You absolutely can buy them. You just can't use your EBT card to do it. If you want to buy a case of soda with your own cash money, you can do that. They're restricting the purchase of these items with EBT cards specifically. But here's where the problems start. You, as the beneficiary, won't be in trouble if you try to buy restricted items. That's fine. You can try it all you want, but they're supposed to stop that. If you try to buy something that is restricted, they're supposed to stop it at the checkout counter. Now, I've been saying for a while that I think this is going to be a little bit of an issue. I don't think there are going to be all that many cashiers that are willing to enforce this. Maybe some here and there, but I think a lot of cashiers are probably going to think, I don't care. Why would I tell this person what they can buy or not buy for food? And this is where the undercover investigators come in. Here's what's actually happening on the ground. And this is wild. The USDA is deploying undercover investigators across these 18 states that have these waivers. What these undercover investigators are going to do is try to buy restricted items. They're literally going to go to the grocery store with the intent of buying a bunch of normal things and then slipping in, say, a case of soda or a pack of cookies or whatever it happens to be that is restricted in that respective state. Then, when they go to the checkout counter, if they get through with the restricted items, the grocery store gets a warning letter. A warning letter. Who cares, right? I'm sure we've probably all gotten warning letters at some point for something. So, they get a warning letter. Okay, fine. Whatever. They get one warning. Basically, one warning. After that, if they get another compliance issue, as in basically somebody comes through, another undercover investigator comes through, and they try to buy a restricted item and they get busted again, guess what? They get their privileges of accepting EBT revoked. Gone. Just like that, the store can no longer accept EBT payments at all, and this is where innocent people get hurt. As I've been saying for a while now, at the end of the day, I think this is going to hurt a lot of food stamp, SNAP beneficiaries, and EBT card holders. For this reason alone, you as a beneficiary may not be doing anything wrong. You might be minding your own business, buying your necessary groceries. Maybe every so often when you're doing your shopping, you grab something that's kind of in the gray area. You're not really sure if this is allowed, so you just kind of go for it and see what happens. And all of a sudden you get stopped and they say, hey, sorry you can't buy this one thing. Okay, fine, whatever, that's too bad. You were really looking forward to it, but fine. If you say I can't, that's totally fine. Whatever. But the problem is this. If your local grocery store is one of these that is not in compliance and they get busted doing it, they may lose their ability to accept EBT payments. Think about this for a second. How many of us live in small towns? How many of us have one grocery store within like a 10 or 15 or 20-minute radius? There's only one option to go to. What if they're not in compliance and they blow it and now everybody, you and anybody else in your town or city that may go there can't shop there anymore with your EBT? Now you're forced to drive 20, 30, 40 miles away or whatever a long distance away because you're one grocery store that you have access to. And I know this is the case for a lot of you in this community because I've seen your comments. People who live in more rural areas and maybe only have one grocery option may get really hurt by this because all of a sudden, if they're not in compliance, if they break the rules, if their ability to accept EBT payments is revoked, where are you going to do your shopping? Exactly. You see my point here? One bad apple ruins the entire bunch. Unfortunately, I'm going to say this much. This is going to happen. It's going to happen a lot. This, unfortunately, is going to hurt a lot of very well-intentioned people, a lot of well-meaning people that are just going out trying to do their regular shopping. No big deal. Not trying to do anything shady. But what happens is maybe a cashier that doesn't care. Or maybe something slips by on accident. Whoops, didn't mean to, but it just happened to. Maybe something slips by and it happens to be one of these undercover investigators. And then guess what happens? They get revoked. Nasty. I've been saying this for a while now, and I'm going to say it again. I'm going to double down on this statement. This is going to be absolute chaos. This is my opinion on this. I could be totally wrong. Maybe it's going to be smooth sailing? I don't know. But I can only imagine this is going to be absolute chaos for at least the first couple of months that they roll this out. And here's why. There are no real set guidelines. Seriously, there are no set guidelines on this. No carbonated beverages or sugary drinks. Okay, fine. That's easy enough to understand. I get it. No buying pop, no buying energy drinks. Got it. That's easy enough. Just avoid that aisle. Not that hard to figure out. But what about all the states that are restricting the purchase of candy and prepared dessert foods and sugary foods? That's like everything on the grocery store shelf. I mean, literally everything at the grocery store has sugar in it. Look at the nutrition label on literally everything. In fact, I just saw a couple of comments over the last couple of days. A couple of people reached out and said, I don't know how they're going to enforce this. There's literally sugar in everything. Yeah, no kidding, right? So how do you identify what is restrictive and what's allowed? I mean, unless you're literally buying like a head of lettuce, a thingy of broccoli, what's that called? A broccoli bushel thingy, a pack of carrots, you know what I mean? Unless you're literally buying that kind of stuff that just has natural sugars in it, how are they going to enforce this? It's going to be a total mess. I've been saying this for probably a couple of weeks now. As they roll this out, it's going to be a total mess, the implementation of this. Here's my warning to you. If you're in one of these 18 states that has the waivers granted and the restrictions on the purchase of sugary drinks, carbonated beverages, dessert foods, candies, stuff like this, and again, it's different across the board as far as what states are allowing and disallowing. But if you're in one of these locations that disallows the purchase of that and you try to buy something like that, all I'm trying to say is be prepared. Technically, the cashier is supposed to say, hey, I'm sorry, I see all these items here. These are technically not allowed in our state because of the new rule, and I'm really sorry, but you can't, you can still buy them, but it has to be a cash purchase. It can't be an EBT purchase. Does that make sense? There's no rule that says you can't buy it. You absolutely can. But they would say it needs to be a cash purchase. It cannot be an EBT purchase. So again, they're restricting the purchase of these items with EBT cards. There's no rule or law that says you can't buy it with just your own money. You can if you want to, but I can't imagine a lot of people are really going to do that. I'm just saying. So what can you actually do to protect yourself and make sure you don't accidentally cause problems at your local grocery store? Number 1, know what's restricted in your state. This is critical. Each of the 18 states has slightly different rules. Find out exactly what you can and cannot buy with your EBT card in your specific state. Number 2, avoid the gray areas. If you're not sure whether something is allowed, just don't try to buy it with your EBT card. Use cash if you really want it, or just skip it altogether. Number 3, be patient with cashiers. Remember, they're learning these rules too. They didn't create this system. They're just trying to do their job. If they have to remove something from your order, don't take it personally. Number 4, shop at multiple stores if possible. I know not everyone can do this, but if you have access to more than one store that accepts EBT, spread out your shopping. That way, if one store loses its ability to accept EBT, you're not completely stuck. Number 5, keep your receipts. Always, always keep your receipts. If there's ever any question about what you bought or whether you followed the rules, you'll have proof. Number 6, be aware of your surroundings. I'm not saying to be paranoid, but understand that undercover investigators are out there. They look like regular shoppers. They're deliberately trying to get stores to mess up. Number 7, report problems. If you notice that a store consistently allows restricted items to go through, you might want to shop somewhere else because when that store gets caught, you'll be the one who suffers. Now, I've been asking you for weeks now, and I'm going to ask you again. Please drop your comments down below. Let me know if you're in one of these states that's enforcing these rules. I would love to hear your stories as you're going to the grocery store and picking up some of these items. What are they doing? Are they enforcing these rules? What's happening at the checkout counter? Is it the cashier that's doing it? What's your experience? I really want to hear your comments on this as far as the states that are implementing this. I'm very curious to read your comments because I think a lot of people are going to have some not so great experiences. I'm just going to say, I just don't think it's going to end up very well at all for a lot of people. Unfortunately, it's going to be bad. But anyway, I found this to be very interesting and I want to hear from you. please subscribe if you're new here. Please share this video with anyone you know who receives SNAP benefits because they need to know about this. Check out any of the other well over 170 plus videos here on the channel in the video library. We cover SNAP, Medicare, Social Security, unemployment, housing assistance, all kinds of resources for people who need them. Look, I know this situation is frustrating. I know it's confusing. And I know it feels like the system is working against you instead of for you. But knowledge is power. The more you know about these rules, the better you can protect yourself and your family. And the more we share information in this community, the more we can help each other navigate this mess. So stay informed, be careful out there, and remember, you're not doing anything wrong by needing help. These benefits exist for a reason, and you deserve to use them without feeling like you're under surveillance. I hope this helps you. Until next time, please have a nice day. Thanks so much for watching this. Enjoy, and I'll catch you again later in the next video. I'll see you later. See you.